Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the Silver Scrapes, because we did. We're here in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, and coming up is the final game of the 2016 LCS Spring Split Championship. You just saw the trophy that these teams are playing for, along with all the glory and the bragging rights. So game 5, gentlemen, do or die time for both teams coming in. CLG now, the recent loss on their minds. So Azael, to you, how does CLG rebound here? How do they deal with that loss?
I think it's really just focusing on what you've done right in the games you've won and what you've done wrong in the games you've lost. I don't think either of the losses were down to draft. I think it was simply game 1 that they lost, that their bot lane got smashed, their Caitlyn fell too far behind. This game, I don't think that he executed at the level that he needed to win on the TF. I think that their drafts are solid, their team play is excellent, they just need to kind of stick to their guns. And I mean, when it comes down to it, this is for a North American Championship, right? You have to play well. You can't just draft, it can't just be theorycraft. You need to have the total package, and if CLG wants to win, that's what it's got to be. All
right, so CLG needs to step up their execution on their good drafts. TSM, though, Irene, they're gonna be feeling confident off that win, but how do they keep that momentum moving?
I think they trust in their execution, right? TSM, when they remade this team, they got the players together that had individual skill. They have to rely on that. Their drafts have been pretty okay. I think that the Lulu was the only one, and they've been adapting, and now they've added that back in. They put that ace up their sleeve. Now they can draft Caitlyn and take it away, and they're realizing over time the weaknesses in CLG that they're going to exploit in this game 5. So get your draft on point, make sure you're drafting to counter CLG and put them on things they're not comfortable on, and also just trust in your strength, because Svenskeren, he's pretty much won every early game jungle. There's only I believe 1 game where he didn't win the early game jungle, and they have to learn how to capitalize on that and push it further.
Adaptation and execution, 2 things that are going almost synonymous with TSM when it comes to playoff series. Skara, close us out. We've heard that, we think CLG has had some solid drafts, but in this one, when they're back on blue side, with some of these execution mistakes in mind, how do they craft the right composition to come away with the title?
Really, I think it's just a question of what are people going to play? So on blue side, what happens with CLG is that they'll first pick a jungle. It'll be like Nidalee or Kindred, and securing one of those 2 is really important. And because TSM knows that, their first rotation is going to have Caitlyn in it, because they realize that Caitlyn is a really powerful pick, and that they want to keep 6A off of it because he has to play much less easier champions, and they can just take that away, and it's a huge priority pick. Going past that, we haven't seen who he can blind pick on blue side yet. I'm not sure what he's going to play. I have absolutely no idea. And honestly, is he going to take away the Lulu? Is he going to pick Corki again? I think the Corki pick probably isn't that good. So I'm just really interested what he's going to bring out blue side on blind pick, and giving Bjergsen the counter pick is going to be really, really difficult. So I actually have no idea what he's going to play. I hope that he picks something that's good.
Well, the teams have had all the time we can give them to figure out their strategies going into game 5. That's going to do it for us here at the desk. It's time to see who will be our North American champions. Let's send it over to the casters to get us into game 5.
Thank you very much, Dash. We are here and ready to get into this 5th and final game to crown the first champions in North America of 2016. A trip to MSI on the line. CLG won games 1 and 3. TSM won games 2 and 4. We're up to the 5th one, and I think it's anyone's.
Yeah, the pattern holds. It's decided. No,
yeah,
really,
CLG
though,
won. Yeah, it's already over.
Those guys on the desk talked about a lot of different possibilities, and so much of it will come down to this draft phase and just the pressure that they feel as well, and how well they can execute the strategy they end up drafting.
And we'll see what strategies those end up being. Azir still going to be dropped off the table, never allowing Bjergsen to play this champion, and something that he has not learned to play or counter, at least not to their liking. No Soraka all 5 games for Aphromoo either, and I don't expect these bans to change very much. The question is what's going to be first pick worthy, and with Nidalee out the table, it means they're looking for, I'm guessing, Poppy.
Yeah,
I think you can't first pick Caitlyn.
Also not seen a series revolve this much around Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Ever in the last year. There's so many other strong AD carries right now.
So much of the focus really has been on Doublelift and Stixxay.
Yeah.
Trying to battle against each other, and most of the time, Doublelift has come out on top.
Look at the difference in facial expressions, though. You would see in Xmithie sort of slumping in his chair, hand on his head, kind of really down on himself, and the rest of TSM's like swiveling around, looking at each other, talking really actively. Visually, CLG's mindset does not seem to be as sharp as TSM's here as the bans come through. Nothing unsurprising, not much about CLG. Poppy going away from TSM's side.
Okay.
So now...
Echo.
Yeah,
Echo.
Kindred and Graves are a trade.
Flash junk.
Echo's only a CLG side champion. Caitlyn actually, at this stage of the game, is almost first pickable.
I think so, but I think Echo is higher value.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Even play it.
Here's the thing. Like, you can take a Kindred, but Graves is actually quite good into Kindred as well. So the jungle right now is kind of a wash with Nidalee off the board, I feel like.
Yeah, and I mean, if they pick Echo, it also gives Huhi the flexibility and the guarantee that they're going to get to play it. And I know TSM doesn't seem to prioritize it, but
Right.
I still think Hanser can
trust
play it.
Hanser
I
knows
know
it.
Hanser can play it.
Yeah, he definitely does. The question is, which matchup do CLG want with this one? Talking back and forth. It comes down to what Stixxay feels comfortable doing, and the Echo is the one after all. So you guys are right. Echo
Yeah.
the first pick for CLG.
If I had to guess what the conversation was about, it was whether or not CLG wanted to risk TSM picking it, because they weren't sure if they were going to want it, but CLG knows they want it.
Yeah.
It's been in both of their wins.
Yeah. And there's Caitlyn Kindred. No big surprise there. It will leave Graves up for Xmithie if Xmithie wants to play it. Otherwise, he goes somewhere farther down the jungle list here. I don't expect this TSM lineup to change, though. I think those two are the lock-ins. But time is a resource that you have access to. 25 more seconds to think, okay, if we do grab these, what's their next round? Are they taking something else that we really, really care about here? In CLG's case, last game, they grabbed the least that was uncontested and let the Caitlyn be grabbed away. And sure enough, there's
makes a lot of
TSM
sense.
picking up those
Yeah.
two champions. And I believe everyone saw those coming. The Echo was the big choice that CLG had, and they have to hope they made the right choice here.
Do you totally flip the script and go for something to completely try and throw TSM off here and steal away the Gragas that Hanser's been going for? Also be able to try and displace Svenskeren with the Kindred?
Yeah.
You can even take the Lulu
I
away.
mean, you can... There's so many options.
He's Lulu play. He also has played a lot of the Blanc during the regular season, if we're wondering like what he has to blind pick. Or they can just pick the Echo in mid lane. They already have it, and then throw Darshan onto, I think, probably Gragas, and then Xmithie on some other jungler. There's just too many options for CLG currently. And you can tell they're
come through.
spending a lot of time discussing it.
No, actually, it's the Alistar takeaway that Yellowstar had played for a lot of the series now. At least still what Xmithie wants to play if Nidalee's off the table.
So what they're doing here, these are two picks from CLG that they don't really care about. These are kind of throwaway picks as far as the priority ones. They want to make TSM show one of their solo lanes.
Yep.
So they can try and counterpick one of the solo lanes. But TSM can, as long as it's a flex pick, still keep them guessing.
Yeah, but what is left to flex between mid and top lane that's actually in meta right now?
Lulu,
Trundle, Lissandra.
technically you can flex
They
at
can
the top
flex
lane.
the Trundle to
Graves,
support for sure. And also you have to keep in mind the champion pools of TSM. It's going to be tricky. These seem the most logical for them.
Yeah.
Tank support for Yellowstar, Gragas yet again for Hanser. TSM is sticking with generally what got them here. The question will be if CLG switches it up or if they also go with the standard for this all-important Game 5.
I actually quite like the Braum pickup here for TSM as well. Even though CLG technically stole away this Alistar, which Yellowstar has really liked, Braum is so good in these siege situations where he can both offensively use Unbreakable to push up onto a turret, but he can also protect minion waves, which is so rare.
And unless CLG picks Lulu here, I think TSM take it.
Yeah. They have the backline for it. They have, that would even out their damage profile.
Yeah.
Balance it with magic.
Bjergsen could look to make it 3 wins in a row on Lulu if that is the case. CLG, knowing that's on the table,
What are they going to
they have
do?
decided they need to take that one away. They need to pick an 80
What
carry.
about a Lulu Sivir?
Oh!
The Trist?
Oh,
The
the
Trist
Tristana's
comes
back for Stixxay.
Ginsu's Trist?
Do we see the Rage Blade come out again?
I think we do.
The 3-time banned Tristana against Liquid. Brought it out once with the loss, but it wasn't his fault. Lulu does get stolen as well. That wasn't Lissandra after all.
On
Stixxay.
hit Trist.
Stixxay is going to be the 1-1v5 this game.
That
This
would
is
be
probably
what
Tank
they're putting
Echo, mid
their cards
Lulu.
in.
Is it a 1v5 if you have a Lulu behind you?
I mean, like it's hyperbole, obviously.
Yes.
And
my
Corky mid
God.
comes through for
Alright.
Bjergsen, not being allowed to play Lulu, of course. So CLG, I think, making some smart choices. I like.
I'm so
the
glad that it
Tristana.
comes down to this, too.
Yes.
The highly criticized, special Rage Blade Tristana for CLG that was even banned against them.
I'd
It
forgotten
got
about
banned
it.
early in the playoffs.
3 straight bans by Liquid. They were loath to drop it. CLG grabbed
When
it.
they did take it, the game wasn't the.
It wasn't Stixay's fault. They were
it
getting
wasn't
wrecked
the,
elsewhere.
It wasn't the Tristana's fault. It was a failed game.
But it
so.
fell flat on its face, and they never spoke of it again.
Yeah.
Right.
Until now.
Until now.
Until Game 5 of the finals, when not only do they take the Tristana for surprise into a Caitlyn matchup, which is going to be tough, but then they also throw
They're all in
Ruhi
on
onto
this.
Lulu.
Yeah.
They are all in on this pick.
On Stixay, their freshman AD carry, grabbed fresh off their otherwise challenger squad of CLG Black. He had a mediocre performance there, grabbed it in the main squad to replace Doublelift, and now it's all in his hands to win the final.
In game number 3, CLG played around him, committing ganks down bottom. They got the extra jungle start. So much went into that game, and Stixay rewarded them in the end. Now is when it all counts, though. Game number 5.
With
It'll be
Rage
fun.
Blade Hurricane
Well,
Tristana.
okay.
Huh?
What would be hilarious is if there's a extra twist at the end and he just goes a standard Tristana.
Yeah,
Rage Blade.
just
Or
because
let's say the
guys,
anti-hype.
rapid fire cannon. Well, here we are, everybody. Game 5. It's all come down to this. Let us know who it's going to be. Will it be TSM? Will it be Counter Logic Gaming? Right now, we are looking to crown the North American champion.
And Aframo even said at the start of the day, he's looking forward to seeing who wins so they know who is right about whether or not they should have Doublelift or not on the team. Imagine the conversation around Rageblade Trist if it does or does not work in Game 5 of the finals.
After TSM have made this adaptation to make it a priority to steal Caitlyn away from Stixay. Doublelift does get the first shot off there, so guess we answered that question.
All right. Early damage.
I feel like we got to see lane swaps in this game as well. We've been kind of lulled into these standard lanes with the Caitlyn picks, but you'd think CLG would be trying to get a blind swap off. They don't have deep wards.
Yeah. I think Caitlyn Braum's not the scariest duo lane. In terms of surviving lane, I think CLG can. It just depends how much TSM can push. It's pretty rough last hitting under turret as Tristana. And you're seeing TSM make the late swap. You see Doublelift walking late to the top lane, hoping to surprise CLG with his choice of lane. But CLG
Yeah, they're
keeping
gonna crash
Tristana
into
in
each
the
other.
mid lane, hoping to get that information himself. Walks topside also.
This will be a big question. As soon as the Caitlyn Braum are revealed, will Stixay double back, or are they just going to get late invaded on this Gromp? They should have seen them.
They
They are.
Yeah.
They were spotted doing this. And CLG, are they going to wait around the wall for a pulverize?
No.
Are they going to loop back around? Are they going to find nothing? TSM actually don't know who's there other than the fact there was no jungle start.
I think TSM gets the lane they want.
And yeah, we get equal lanes. Doublelift checks the brush with a Q, sees that no one's in there, feels safe to walk up.
Junglers both starting on the bottom side as well. They can end their routes. Double buff level 3 up in the top lane. Double melee supports, both with potential
Nice. And
to
you're
help
seeing
those ganks early on.
the harass pattern for Tristana, by the way, if you guys don't know, is you actually get a Caspian down to 1 hit, and then you E-auto attack it. And it blows up, the charge blows up, and the explosive shot passive blows up, all hitting the nearby AD carry. And you saw Stixay do that exactly once. Then Yellowstar healed him with a relic shield stack, and it meant nothing. But
Later it might matter.
later it'll matter when it starts doing more damage. Fervor on both the AD carries.
All 3 of the 80 carries.
Yeah, true. You're right. Well, I use AD carry as the position of marksman as the champion, but yeah, all 3 marksmen running Fervor.
Sure, that's fair.
I don't know. It's a random point I like to make. Level 2 now picked up for CLG. Rocket jump learned by Stixay to make sure he can stay alive. And meanwhile, Aframu did go headbutt. So CLG might look to make an aggressive play pretty early on here.
It would definitely be a possibility. As we said, both junglers know that each other are going to be up there. So oftentimes you want to try and get bush control for that.
And we know that TSM's going to be playing very aggressive with the Caitlyn. They try to
Their
cope
first
with that. There they go.
Flash, pulverize, headbutt, cocoon, damage output. How about a good start with the first blood for Stixay?
Wow.
Talk about setting up this Rage Blade Trist for success. Last time, Game 3, they played around him. This time, Smithy with the early gank as well.
I do have to call out TSM for that they were too far up. They knew the jungle timing. Svenskeren opted not to back them up to be pushed up that far, and CLG just does a very standard lane gank with Elise Alistair to get that kill. So very well executed onto CLG, but Svenskeren should have been there if Yellowstar was going to be up this far.
It's so easy to call that as well. Bottom lane, both of the solo bottom laners.
Watch
here we
this,
go.
though. It's Huhi in a 1v2. Spencer getting some damage to the flash kick. It's not going to land, but here comes Darshan. Looking to turn it around. Gets the backside. And that's going to be 2 kills for Counter Logic Gaming with double buffs on
Quadra
Darshan.
buffs for CLG.
Woo! It goes from bad to worse for FLICKR. He's not there to counter Smithy's gank, so he tries to counter jungle, and CLG is way ahead of him. They call him, they catch him, they get the double buffs, and they're up 2 kills
Oh
to none.
my god. Darshan on the Echo with double buffs now is going to be such a pain for Hanser.
He's got even 2 stacks in the Dark
Yeah.
Seal. Oh, man. This couldn't go any better for
saw it.
Echo.
Hey man, those 2 stacks are no joke.
6 AP, right?
Yeah, it's
Hey, that matters.
substantial. It does.
It matters here.
Yeah,
It
wait for
definitely
him
does.
to tick someone out. It will be with all these micro
Here's
trades
this.
they've taken lane.
Yeah, the red buff damage, the infinite
Look
mana, the
at that.
cooldown reduction. Hanser will have to recall here. And to be
So
fair, he hadn't recalled yet, so he gets his first set of builds, but
Yeah, but you can't even really bail him out now.
No.
It's so dangerous, especially since Darshan has the early pink ward in the tri-bush. Elise, it's very, very scary for Kindred to walk into Fog of War like that, already being down. Extra ward's going to be coming from Smithy, actually.
yeah. And a lot of AP on
factors.
Hanser. Dark Seal and Doran's Ring with his corrupting potion, so that'll be fun to watch for. Smithy was getting out-farmed early game. No surprise to be against a Kindred, but still, those ganks, of course, mean quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Smithy also went for the early gank, whereas Svenskeren went for the hard farm with the Kindred.
Not going to be sad about that.
Yeah.
And actually, Smithy missed the assist on the Svenskeren kill. He never landed a cocoon or anything, but he was around when that had gone down. So he was, in some way, even if unofficially, involved with both kills.
They also get to control that Scuttle Crab mark as well.
Yes, FLICKR definitely made a few decisions that did not turn out well for the team, but he has a gold advantage. This is
could
huge
look great.
troubling.
Cocoon lands. Exhaust forced out of Yellow Star. Does still have Flash, but pushed out of his jungle.
Look at that patience and communication there between Afro and Smithy as well. Smithy just waiting, not revealing himself until Afro can perfectly set up that combo. Smithy gets off the damage first, layers the stun, and they're rewarded with an exhaust, prepping for the dive.
There's the ward over the wall. CLG are spotted in this one.
With no exhaust, they have to really respect the Alistar, Elise, and Triss dive. The Tristana burst at this point of the game is very respectable, and
So
it's a big lead for Stixxay now.
Svenskeren's Kindred is counter-juggling the bot lane, the bot side jungle, while this top lane shenanigans are happening right here. So he is getting some farm for himself, and it also means that he can threaten Darshan, who's flashless.
Darshan is level 6 though as well, and has teleport.
But look at the respect he gives. He knows there's still some danger there and gives it away completely. Will lose a couple waves under the turret and lose some turret health as well. Roughly exactly what TSM's losing on the top side.
That is mirrored. I feel like CLG gets a little more of this because
agree.
they're focusing the Tristana lane, and that's their main focus in this composition. It's all going to be about getting Stixxay ahead to the Rage Blade, buff him up with the Lulu. And Darshan already got off to a good start. He's got his kill money, so he's just fine. Even gets right back in there for an extra wave, so Darshan's
Really fortunate
actually
here.
going to keep his minion lead after that.
That's big. And Stixxay, because he got the first blood kill, he got a pickaxe on the recall, makes it much easier to knock this turret down. Demolitionist Tristana.
Doublelift would have thought he's recalled by this point.
They have Ward seeing this too.
They're going for it.
Going for the play. The slow is landed, but now Yellowstar's going to tank this one up with the shield in front. Flash burn, but there's the flank. The double TP yet again for Counter Logic Gaming in Game 5. You can't write it any better than this.
Talk about focusing all resources into Stixxay here. CLG show up with everybody, all hands on deck in the top lane. That does mean that TSM can push out the other lanes, but that's not going to be enough.
There's pressure on the other lanes, but it's so early, and it does seem like CLG could run down. What a beautiful play once again by CLG. They have been calling TSM again and again and punishing them for their decisions. Doublelift is not having a good time, and the Rage Blade Trist is coming.
Early lead here for Tristana, and she can start it off.
Yeah, both people teleporting onto the same ward. Not that it really matters. TSM was pretty dead.
I mean, it's technically their signature move now. CLG
doesn't like them.
Yeah, they do it almost every game now.
And the thing is,
all the time.
TSM knew it was there. There was already a Caitlyn trap under that trinket ward. Like, they saw it get put down. I was like, guys, they can TP flank this.
Yeah.
And Double still walked up and got rocket jumped on. Rough stuff here.
Yeah.
CLG with a sizable lead now, 2,000 gold up. And all the pressure to try to get Stixxay ahead is certainly happening. There's the blasting one. It is going to be Rage Blade.
Yep.
Darshan also, though, 3-0 with 6 stacks and a Dark Seal.
Yeah, that's the huge thing.
man.
We say it's been top lane focus up towards Stixxay, but Darshan has been the beneficiary of so much of this. The attempted counter jungle by Svenskeren gave him the double buffs. That double TP gave him 2 more kills. So he's been the one with the largest gold advantage over his opponent. 1,200 gold ahead of Hansur already.
1,200 gold and 6 stacks on the ring.
That added value.
Yep. All right, well, Hansur's got to try to lick those wounds and keep up as close as he can despite his giant gold deficit. Bjergsen farming up as well as he can on the core key.
Yeah. TSM now in that mode where everyone just says, okay, relax, farm for late. Because they're in a pretty big hole right now. They don't want to force to the issue. Just try and see if they can grab some farm and wait it out. Try and punish some mistakes. Maybe CLG will overstep. And they can use the package. That is a big playmaking ability as far as countering CLG initiation.
Afro tries to save the pink ward, can't really do so. Yellowstar knocks that one down. Rage Blade completed for Stixxay.
Yeah, it is times like these where, as the team that is behind, you need to focus on where you were still ahead. Bjergsen has 100 CS in the mid lane. When he has Trinity Force, he should look to make a play. And even though Svenskeren hasn't had successful ganks, he's been farming really hard. And once he completes his Devour, looking to get kills and stack up the Devour that way would be TSM's best way back into the game.
Yeah, I mean, Svenskaren's got a 2-level lead over Smithy because of the focus that Smithy has been putting on the bottom lane.
He's
on the
not
duo
farming.
lane.
So you got to keep that in mind, what can be done. Right now, Svenskeren at only 1 Kindred mark and about 1 Devourer stack after this camp. He just completed the item, so this is his first.
Farm for late, boys.
Sven is going to be one of the bigger people in this game. He's actually got more gold than either his top laner or his AD carry right now. So this is the man to really watch for physical damage output. Triple marksman TSM with 2 tanks in the front. And one of these marksmen getting denied, the other 2 doing okay.
Yeah, but with the 2 tanks in the front, they are going to get run over if they can't catch up in this game.
Yes.
Yellowstar is 0-2. Hansur is most likely going to get outpaced heavily by Darshan once Darshan starts completing some of these items. So really, it's Svenskeren who needs to be able to get some of those tanks back in the game if they want to set up standard teamfight lines.
There's 5 sated stacks right there for Sven.
That's big. That'll definitely help.
Feels good.
7.
Yep. Now, it's also worth keeping in mind any sort of Rage Blade build does have a fall-off. You're not getting that same sort of crit synergy that an Infinity Edge Hurricane would. So in terms of getting through those big, beefy tanks, Stixxay is going to need more gold than he would have otherwise on Caitlyn to actually make that sort of damage pacing happen.
It's also going to be a fair bit of magic damage coming out of CLG. Like with the Pix damage that goes on top of Stixxay, the itemization would be fairly heavily tilted towards being magic. Makes it a little easier for the tanks to itemize.
A little bit of damage on Afremu, doesn't seem to care too much though as he just triumphantly roars and puts his health back up. And look at the damage output here. Chunk goes the turret. And that will be 2 outer turrets now for CLG, putting that Tristana in a lane that she can kill a turret with, and using that to balloon a mid-game lead.
Using her like a demolitionist.
Like a demolition. I said that earlier, don't worry. I got you covered
so
on
quickly, and it's because they always have the proper jungle pressure with them. It's cost Xmithy 30 CS, but it's winning them the game. In a meta where jungle farming is so heavily valued, Xmithy has kind of flipped the script once again and just totally camped a lane. But because his ganks have been successful, you see why people used to do that style so frequently.
Right, of course.
Because it can still work very well.
And he found the right players to gank for, of course. The flash pulverize for the first blood, and then the double TP into the top side afterwards. But definitely some good plays here. And we'll see how much more CLG can get out of this one. Pink wards once again added to their inventories, as who he is down a bit, but not insurmountably so in this mid lane matchup, farm-wise. Smithy also with a very utility-focused build once again, going for the Tracker's Knife, also finishing Boots of Lucidity before getting into the completed jungle enchant. Really valuing summoner spell cooldowns and just cycling his CC in general. Zerker's Greaves in the beginning of a Hurricane now coming in for Stixxay. So again, a very attack speed, on-hit focused build.
Yeah. Now, what I'd like to see here from CLG is to get the push priority in their side lanes first, and then turn their attention towards this mid lane. They're the ones with the Alistar this time. They're the ones with the AD carry who's spiking now, whereas Caitlyn's trying to build crit. But TSM have already moved double lift into the mid lane to wave clear and try and set up traps and dissuade them from that strategy. FLICKR also making his appearance.
And Afro showing himself as well, but doesn't quite get tagged too terribly low. Down to half HP, cutting away from the Wolf, and he's going to be okay here. But there's always going to be the risk of a big play happening. Trinity Force down on Corki, and the risk of explosive cast can always stay in your mind. Once again, Afro getting pushed around. Cocoon doesn't mean too much on a FLICKR. Darshan also is not really pushing any kind of a lead. For having 3 kills, he's got the mini wave pushed up, but he's not getting a farm lead over Hanser.
And that is kind of what I was looking for in the mid game here, but Huhi also has the bottom lane in a decent position. Teleports are both ready. But if CLG misstep and they go for a dive and they throw it at the dive, they botch this, TSM gets right back in this game. Kindred snowballs like hell.
Yeah, 18 stacks now on Devourer, 2 stacks for Mark of the Kindred.
Definitely still farming hard. I feel like CLG can really turn it on once Stixxay gets his Hurricane. That's going to be, I think, their highest point of power. Huhi on 2 items, Stixxay on 2 items, and it will be Darshan about half an item to a full item ahead of Hanser. And even though CLG has a lot of opportunity to split push, if they just grouped and shoved once they hit those power spikes, I think they take full control of the game.
Looking for the play right now. Echo stun comes in, and explosive charge onto the turret. Knocks it down to about 2/3 here. You can see that as long as they're given those 4 seconds to auto attack, CLG can get some meaningful damage on that.
Oh yeah, package came in. So
Yeah.
good job by CLG backing off there.
And a few recalls come in as well. Both Elise and Alistair heading back to the base to grab their new items. Completed upgraded Sightstone now for Aframu. Eye of the Equinox is in.
Yeah.
Playing for the ward control game.
And we also have to remember this is the highest pressure game. It's game 5 of the finals with the championship on the line. So the normal play patterns can't necessarily be fully relied upon, right? Like you can't expect a perfectly played closeout. You're going to see either people being more conservative or more risky depending on how they respond to the pressure. So far, TSM needs to be conservatively smart, not too scared, but willing to pull the trigger. One of the hardest things to do when you're under this much pressure in a game 5 and facing a deficit. Whereas CLG needs to be able to pull the trigger at the right time.
Yes. CLG have to make plays that have risks. You can't play League of Legends with 0 risk. Just you won't win games unless you're significantly better than your opponents. So it's up to which ones they're willing to take, which choices they'll make. 2,500 gold still keeps CLG in the lead as the gold keeps stacking up. 1,800 gold in the inventory of Stixxay right now. Also, FLICKR still stacking up as well. 23 on Devourer, 3 on Mark of the Kindred. Now into the bot lane, the push towards Huhi. The flash comes in, the knockup's going to land. How long can Lulu live? Self-ult, and getting stunned again, and Bjergsen gets the kill.
Teleport in though, this is not done.
It's not done, but it's a 4v5. Let's see what CLG can do.
CLG is all here.
They're getting pushed around. Darshan getting hit up as well. How much can they gain from this one? The headbutt pulverize comes in for 2. Here's Stixxay, but here comes FLICKR. Ulti back from Echo, and TSM are back in. They're looking for Darshan. They're gonna get Darshan. A shutdown for FLICKR and 2 kills for TSM. And the chase continues. A bit more damage on the minions. CLG are routed.
That's exactly the type of play TSM was waiting for. Huhi pushes up in the split, there is no one to defend him, and Yellowstar and Bjergsen are willing to go all in, flashing, ulting, finishing the kill.
TSM are right back in this. Here comes the teleport from CLG though.
Looking for the cocoon, not gonna land though. Huhi's teleport meant absolutely nothing, and even still, it's only a 4v5. Darshan's still dead. Hanser jumps over the wall. He's gonna be totally fine on this one. CLG are in position for the dragon, so hey, gold still 1,300 apart, and the first dragon now for CLG. TSM got one earlier, but this influx of stats will be nice. All said and done, 2 kills for TSM, 1 dragon for CLG.
Yeah. Definitely more interesting now after that set of events, though, with the dragons being even and the gold being much more close.
Yep.
He's got a nice little sneak up and pretty much at the max range of Q. And I love how he flashed forward to get the ultimate and allow Bjergsen to finish off the kill.
Yeah, I'm actually curious why he went over towards that brush. Maybe he thought he had a ward and did not. Anyways, here's the answer, teleports.
And here CLG was here a lot before TSM was, so that's why Darshan was feeling so confident, but Bjergsen's able to dodge a lot of the damage, and the rest of it would just be right onto TSM's tanks.
Yeah. Darshan also ults out of the shield, doesn't quite get the stun. and still gets knocked back in. Split second there.
Suboptimally played team fight. He loses a lot of the Dark Seal stacks he had obtained.
And I think Stixay hadn't bought yet as well. I mentioned 1800 gold beforehand. I don't think he had bought. Now he's got the Hurricane though, so that's a big power spike. 2 items in for the CLG AD carry. Now a team fight would look a little bit better, but it wasn't what it was before.
Despite losing 2 kills, I still think CLG should group right here. The package as well as the pick potential of the Gragas is kind of what TSM wants, even though CLG is so comfortable in the 1-3-1. The grouping of Trist and Lulu is just so strong.
Yeah, that was a team fight, but it was a team fight without the Lulu, who he was dead on arrival.
We'll see if it looks better next time. 29 stacks on Svenskern's Devourer now. He just got 2 off the Scuttle, so next camp he finds gives him that sated. Okay, Yellow Star does not have flash, gets Wimby, but look at the damage on a Huhi. Ulti popped in, dodged away. Look at the damage on a Stixay though, doesn't get blocked by Afromu. The Alistar forced to run, challenging smite is on, true damage still ticking in from Svenskeren. Huhi looking for the play into Bjergsen, dodges the Glitterlance though, and Elise repelling away. As Rift Herald
Sean
respawns.
actually re-engaging on Hanser on this side, but it's tank on tank action.
CLG got heavily poked out. Hanser doesn't pull the trigger on the explosive cast, but CLG lost that fight. They've got to recall several members here.
You can feel they're losing a little bit of the confidence. Everybody's starting to get a little jittery here.
Yeah.
After that last team fight.
TSM know with those 2 kills picked up, they're going to feel much better. That included shutdown gold from killing out the formerly 3-0 Darshan. Yellow Star blocking away and walking out of this one, but now the turret is under fire. CLG staying around. The deep stun comes out and it will force TSM back, and finally another turret comes through. CLG up 3 turrets to 0.
Now it's on them to set up these wards. Try and find TSM as they're moving between their own jungle. Svenskern's been constantly cleaning his own jungle, just back and forth. CLG are in the position to get those deeper wards and cut them off.
Yeah, he hit sated as well 21 minutes in, so got it a little bit before then. The triple marksman in the fight is very respectful DPS, respectable DPS.
Oh, for sure.
So CLG would need some pretty good initiations. The Trist is getting put to the test right now. I'm waiting for a fight where you can actually get the setup and you can actually get the Ginsu stacking and get Lulu with the picks to trigger all the on-hits that they're going for.
He just needs uptime. His team has plenty of playmaking as well, of course. Headbutt, Pulverize, Cocoon, and then an Echo, Parallel Convergence follow-up. All are good tools for getting into a fight. Ubi can facilitate that. Stixay can certainly participate with Buster Shot and more. Well, TSM have been the team that's looking better right now. Maw of Malmortius now done for Svenskeren with the Sated Devourer. Sunfire Cape, and now starting an Iceborne Gauntlet for Hanser, and the Hurricane and Most of Infinity Edge in for Doublelift as well.
Yeah, I actually think the TSM, if this game goes long, should have Maw of Malmortius or Mercurial Scimitar on every single one of their marksmen, maybe both, just because the damage is going to be so heavily slanted towards magic for CLG. If they stay alive, they have more DPS than CLG would in teamfights.
Yeah, and I think the next item for Stixay is going to end up being Blade of the Ruin King, if I had to guess, doing an attack speed focused Hurricane build. So if you're doing shield items with resists, you don't take any more damage from Ruin King than you would have otherwise. The Sterix pops when you're at 1/3, and you just sit there laughing at percent current health damage. It makes it hard. We'll see if any more can happen. CLG roaming back and forth. Their only turrets available are tier 2, though. Maybe the next Dragon that spawns in 125, but this has slowed down quite a lot as Counterlogic Gaming have run out of objectives to fight for.
Yeah, I think they're in their power spike right now, too. This is where CLG needs to be accumulating a huge advantage because TSM is going to be hitting Infinity Edge on both Corki and Caitlyn fairly shortly. So
600 gold.
The longer this stays at 4 kills to 2 and 3 turrets to 0, the happier TSM is.
400 gold apiece, roughly, for the Infinity Edge power spikes. 400 to 600 based on who you are. And that's only a few minutes away. And that's what TSM's going to want. They might have to sacrifice this next Dragon because of that. I think those are important item spikes through for those 2 marksmen. But everyone else can feel pretty comfortable here. Iceborne Gauntlet, Sunfire done for Darshan. He is definitely ahead of what Hanser has because of those early kills, but has not had much to show for it here.
Yeah.
Teleports all back up for everyone. Now Darshan once again in the fight and not really looking that pretty, and he's actually down a
lot
level.
of pings going down here in the jungle as TSM are making their way, trying to chase each other out. Stick double lift and Svenskeren actually chase Afromu off, trying to get some wards in there. But TSM defend their pinks.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I feel like CLG is committing super hard to this 1-3-1 strategy, but it's not been able to grant them anything. Unless Darshan or Huhi can get an edge in their solo matchups, they're just allowing TSM to stall.
Yeah, and again, TSM, we get closer and closer to a very scary team fight from them. They can rely on the Kindred ultimate to protect all 3 AD carries, and they're the ones with the Gragas. So CLG can't even try and push onto the Kindred ultimate and force them off, because Haunter will just push them back with the ultimate.
Yep. Well, CLG had mid lane control first. Dragon's on the map, and here comes the team down towards the river. Everyone's alive. The recall came through for Darshan. Has fully bought what he can. Headbutt pulverizes mean much, but now the Cocoon and Yellow Star means a hell of a lot. They almost get the kill. It's close. The shield is on. He's going to run away, and he will stay alive, but that was a lot of damage on the TSM support.
Stixxay front and center here with the Rage Blade. Huhi right behind him.
Yeah, that's well played. Now on towards the backside. Doublelift getting hit pretty hard by the Echo. Darshan running out of health. He'll look to ult eventually, but now it's the push onto Haunter. Explosive cast back. Gets away from the headbutt just barely, but now having to run into the brush, into his base.
Resets waiting to happen there. Stixxay getting them very low, but nobody goes down from TSM.
There's actually a really important mechanic I want to talk about before it happens, because I'll bet you it does.
All right.
Tristana's explosive charge. If the 4th hit gets taken from Buster Shot, it won't explode till after the knockback. So if you ever charge it up on someone in Kindred ulti, they'll get knocked back out of the ulti and then blow up outside the ring. We should see that happen at some point.
I'm also surprised that TSM even thought about contesting that Dragon because of their stall, and they need the Infinity Edge on both of their marksmen, whereas CLG, I think, is amidst their most potent power spike this game, and you almost saw those resets come through. I think TSM is lucky to escape that alive, and CLG was right to bait the fight and go hard for it.
We'll see if they go back for this one, though. A little bit of damage taken because of the Dragon. After half HP, TSM looking to siege mid lane. Triforce Corki definitely good at demolishing buildings. But the wave is cleared thanks to a Hurricane Tristana. She's real good at that, by the way. It's going to be okay. Headshot hurts Stixxay a bit. Every trap he steps on would put Headshot back up, and Doublelift will get plenty of damage. So he'll kite back for now. Red buff goes on a Svensker, and in this game 5, for the title of North American champion and the trip to the Midseason Invitational, it's been a tense 26 minutes.
This is honestly going to crack wide open at an explosive team fight. And I think that CLG should try and create an advantageous situation for that team fight to occur on their terms, since they're the one with the double teleport this time around. Bjergsen has to rely on package to cover a lot of ground across this map. If Corki doesn't have that up, CLG can work around that window, try and create a situation where Darshan as well as Huhi get the minion waves in their favor and then try and collapse.
Seems like the wave clear is just so matched between the teams in general. Darshan hasn't been able to kill Haunter.
Oof. Bit of damage on a Stixxay. Has to kite back on that one.
Yeah, they want to keep Huhi next to Stixxay at all times, though, so it's going to be a 1-4 split push.
Once again, there's a lot of money on Stixxay. 1,800 again on this Tristana, which should be enough to buy whatever item he's looking for, or at least get very close to it. It might actually be Essence Reaver if those items are going together. I don't want
so hard to push through a line of Caitlyn traps as well. So CLG is trapped here because they haven't sieged early enough before the double Infinity Edges have gone up, and their 1-3-1 also hasn't been working very well.
It's very difficult because you want to spread the map to try and pull TSM across, make Caitlyn pick up her traps and move across, but you also want to keep your Lulu next to your AD carry. Yeah. All right, they're going to make the call. They actually separate for now.
Once again.
Back to the 1-3-1, back to the 1-4, back to the 1-3-1. Teleport up for Huhi, not up for Darshan. Caitlyn ult slowly wearing down Stixxay's health pool. And if he does go Bloodthirst, it's a DPS loss, but it will let him stay at full health for all of these fights and all this Caitlyn
package has arrived.
And it's up for Bjergsen. Again, outer turrets all available for TSM to kill. The fact that they're so close in gold, despite being down 2 kills and 3 turrets, means they've got a lot of farm and a lot of room to grow in this game.
And the Infinity Edge, the Infinity Edges have come in for all parties. That means Stixxay as well.
Okay, he did get an after all. Sold the longsword, got the item in. So this is good because it means that Stixxay will do plenty of team fight damage.
Exactly. It moves him back towards a real physical damage dealer. He's still going to have high attack speed, and he's going to be able to multiply his crits. So it's kind of the Rage Blade was the one-off for the early game power, I suppose, and the rest of it's going to be pretty standard AD carry from the looks of it. Okay,
well, CLG hoping that's going to be enough for them as they keep pushing forward. Top outer turret did go down though, so some gold clawing back in for TSM. Only a 1,000 gold game here. Double still getting a lot of the farm, but actually just matching Hanser in CS numbers. It's Bjergsen who has all the gold.
Yep, CLG can't manage to create that situation where they get the advantage on minion waves. TSM have so many tools here. Hanser, even though he's been down since the start of this game, you know, after those kills went over to Darshan, Hanser's held up in his lane. He's always been able to hold the lane.
Yeah, huge credit to him on this Gragas. He knows that he can take it to neutralize whatever Darshan's been able to play, and he's done it throughout this series. And the longer this game goes, now 29 minutes and 30 seconds in, with only 1,000 gold difference, the higher the chance is that one giant fight could decide the whole game.
And the more clear it will be, is Rageblade Tristana actually good?
That's true.
Yeah.
He's got enough
I feel
gold.
like this is going to be a good test, the first team fight here.
And watch someone just gets one shot. Just
Well,
perfect Gragas ulti.
And the thing is, with the pressure now and the way that CLG is continually trying to spread out the map, like one bad decision could also do it. It couldn't even be about whether or not Rageblade Trish is good.
Come
If that
on, man,
bad
don't
decision-
do that to me.
I want to see.
Just denying
I
your
want to see if it's
storyline.
good.
All right, well, here we go. Looking again at the mid lane, TSM. The gold's close enough, and they've got a Caitlyn, they've got a Corki. These champions are good at this sort of work. As they push in, looking to zone people away. Yellow Star Cocoon.
Unbreakable being down is actually pretty big. You know, Braum stepping in front of the Tristana is pretty much the only defense that TSM have. They kind of have a Yellow Star sacrificing himself to try and cut off that range damage, but it's a
CLG
limited amount of time.
CLG was finally in defense mode for a split second there. They've been on the offensive for so long, and TSM left the safety of their turrets. But that's short-lived. They're right back there because their waves are pushing.
Yeah. One thing that CLG can do as well, you know, they do have the Elise, pick potential there. Darshan on Echo always has a bit of a scary threat here with the Echo. You know, from Fog of War, it's a lot easier to land the stun. He probably won't be with the rest of the team as they're baiting around Baron, but there are a couple tools that CLG do have to use where they can try and pick people from Fog of War if they, you know, really close their grip on the vision game. Oh, tank fight over blue.
Oh, Hanser gets it. Percent health damage with the W. GG, thank you very much. Still gets the Knight away from Bjergsen, but you know what? Still take it. I think it's pretty good on Gragas.
Very good, yes.
Yeah.
Especially, well, he's maxed out on CDR. Nice.
Yeah, 30 from items, so
Yep.
depending on his runes, he maybe or maybe didn't need it.
I think you don't ruin it. But
Depends on the player.
The longer this game goes, the more tense it becomes. This is the first big risk that CLG would be making by
Rageblade!
And they even
It's
TP'd
going
Hui
really
in the mid
fast.
lane. And TSM are reacting. They've got Darshan back in base for a teleporter. They need it.
So
Here
slow
comes
though.
the attempted play. After has to zone out Svensker, and that's Baron Nashor picked up by Smithy the second time in a row. The knockback onto the team and an early pop on the Kidder ulti. Here comes the re-engage. Yellow Star's the first kill. Darshan's back into it on a Hanser. Sticks say jumping away, but Bjergsen wants him. A couple of kills going back and forth. Smithy also down. Hanser staying alive, and the team is running away. CLG lost 2.
6A did not expect Bjergsen to be there on Tristana as he jumped over and had to flash over the blue wall, I think. They did come away with the Baron, but TSM have map control. They're going to try and get some turrets off the ground before CLG get back on their feet.
And this is where the triple marksman shine. They can shred through these turrets in a few seconds. That's multiple turrets off that Baron. Gold dead even after that one.
That was set up for success for CLG there, I feel like. Stixay had stacked his Rageblade fully on Baron, so he got to enter the fight with full stacks, and yet they still don't get it. Uh-oh, can they steal it with a... No.
They
TSM
see a
didn't go
re-engage.
much.
They're going in with 6A again.
Looking for the play, but no
Traps.
teleports are up. And yeah, Trap's buying quite a bit of time. No engage to be had. All CLG can
man.
do is just control mini waves.
This game is so tense. 33 minutes in, and one team fight could decide the championship. And yeah, that last fight, Kobe, they got the Baron. They snuck it essentially. They finished it first. Set up for success, but why doesn't this team fight go heavily in CLG's favor?
Afromu had to pop his ult early. That was pretty big. But Sven also pops the Kindred ultimate early.
Darshan was able to stay in long enough to then get his Echo ultimate back without returning to his original TP position. But once again here, Stixay sees Bjergsen right where he jumps and has to go away immediately.
Yeah.
He was hoping to be able to DPS from the side.
That's the crux of their team fight. And CLG spreading out like that, they lost all focus there.
Why did he jump over there in the first place?
They had vision of him because Afromu just knocked Bjergsen there. So CLG,
Right.
if he was paying attention and he saw the entirety of the fight, then he would know that Bjergsen's there. But I think it was a reaction. He just came out of a stun. Stixxay was stunned, and he was like, I need to get out of here.
Oof.
But yeah, them spreading out like that, that was a hiccup, and you have no more chances.
Losing
game
your
5.
uptime on a Lulu buff AD carry is just never a good situation for a team fight. So TSM were advantaged there. They got some mid turrets, but now CLG are back into the top side. And look at the damage they have with Tristana in general with a Baron buff on the squad. So now the overall Baron power play is plus 1,000. The net result of going for that play in the first place is CLG looking pretty good. But it's still an incredibly close game as they fight for vision control back and forth.
It's so tense.
Oh man, it's incredibly close here.
5th game, closest game yet. I mean, games 1 and 3 were pretty close too.
Yes.
But this is equally as close. And less action, which to me is building the tension right now because I'm just waiting for it to really get crazy.
Look at that kind of damage. It just required 3 auto attacks from Stixxay. Hit it again. Let the dragon buff hit it. If he ever gets a red, he can let red buff hit it. There we go. 2 more hits. Down it goes. A 2,000 gold Baron power play. Net positive for CLG.
CLG keeps doing this right. They're going to extend themselves a much bigger lead, and they'd also force TSM to fight them. But TSM's tanks have gotten pretty strong. After the early deficits they had, 323 CS on a Haunter is no joke.
Well, I think you guys can stop walking back and forth. You know,
you've been pacing the whole game.
All of me as well. You know, all the neutral objectives have been cleaned from the map. So TSM now, they're not forced into anything. Right. They can play safely. They can just try and slowly move up their defensive vision, slowly get some control back in their own jungle. Haunter actually, even this far, is actually pretty far out. They did just see all of CLG recall, but TSM should be very cautious about how they play the next few minutes.
And Stixxay is way ahead
Level
of the
16
curve
too.
right now. I mean, he's got the Rage Blade, but aside from that, he still has the same items as Doublelift on top of Lulu. So he's a Rage Blade up on Doublelift's Caitlyn.
And 2 levels.
And 2 levels and a level 18 Lulu.
Yeah.
So his positioning in the fights is even more paramount. No more accidental rocket jumps into reverse flashes. He needs to be there for the damage uptime if CLG wants to take the championship.
And it's one of the stats that people always bring up with Doublelift is that DPS. You know, he's topping the charts in North America. And it's because he's the type of player that always looks for those small trades, no matter where he is on the map. Always fits in an auto or an extra ability to try and harass the enemy down. Doesn't lose that DPS uptime. Uh-oh, here we go. We have a collapse on Darshan.
Yeah, Darshan forced to run away.
CLG making
counter
presence
push.
in other
That
lanes.
Triss can kill that turret in a few
The
seconds.
mid-tier 2 is already dead, so now it's on the inhibitor. And yeah, it's several recalls, but look at this Darshan hoping to buy some time. Svenskeren looking to fight him one-on-one, but Guardian Angel Echo will not die quickly. CLG push in the mid lane, then rotate back up to the top side. And are they here in time? Remember, Darshan has teleport, and he is going to use it right now. How much damage now can CLG get? He's saving explosive charge, but he's got to watch out. If Haunter flashed for that one, he would have gotten him.
Man, Caitlyn traps are just so good. Offensive and defensive sieging. Able to stall them out there, even though they had an extra few seconds, because Yellow Star and Svenskeren was still moving up from the bottom side of the map. But
really
a
was-
crucial defense there from TSM.
Darshan had done a lot to stop
Yeah.
TSM from recalling. And then the teleport onto the minion guaranteed that Caitlyn couldn't clear it, which was kind of telling Stixxay, yo, go proc your bomb on this turret. But he had to walk all the way around those traps. So really smart trap positioning by Doublelift, and he seems to always have them down. Even when the rest of TSM was slow to be up there, Doublelift was on time.
So TSM taking back control of their side of the map. CLG didn't really do any counter jungling aside from the red buff steal when they retreated from up there. They were Krugs they left up, for example. Darshan, as he runs back across the map, we already saw that Bjergsen got his own blue buff on the bot side. He's going to recall back. Rapid fire cannon's done for him, so 70% crit. Corky's got to feel good. Going towards Bloodthirster next, so he's going to be real hard to kill. Doublelift working on his next item, which is going to be, I'm guessing, Mortal Reminder.
Yeah, I'm actually glad when all the AD carries approach 100% crit, so the end of this game isn't determined by who got more crits, since everybody has really, really high crit chance.
Getting a bunch.
There still is that possibility, but
Yeah,
of course.
it's still not 100%. Who doesn't get the crit?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah. Neither player able to build too greedily to get 100%, but that's sometimes available. Last whisper done on both of these marksmen. Still continued mirrored builds here. Stixxay should still be having a field day with his Lulu support. And again, gets whimsied, looks for a play, even popped the rapid fire, but couldn't find someone to auto attack.
it is just so dangerous for him right now, even with he can be the Juggertrist, because they have no QSS, they have no, oh, he does have a QSS, never mind.
Yeah.
He can do that.
Sorry.
He should be doing it more, I think, actually.
Yeah.
As far as being aggressive and getting poked, because even if Gragas goes for him, he could still get off the Mercurial and flash away.
And Gragas isn't even there. He doesn't even have to worry about the Gragas. So literally, it's just the marksman and Braum. He can play extremely aggressively when Gragas is trying to deal with Darshan.
Oh my god, TSM's going for Baron.
TSM going for the Baron risk, but it's been revealed by the blue trinket, so TSM can't get much more done. Svenskern's already at half HP. Here comes the engage. Afro the front line, goes for the flash. Headbutt, pulverize, Fen pops the ulti. Stixay knocked to the side, but not too much. Afro will die after this one, but here's the explosive charge. Exhausted to Stixay. Does he have the damage? Trying to get away. He's low. He's alive still. Can they keep him up? Yes, they can. A double for Stixay. But it's traded back. Bjergsen makes the big play. 3 alive for both teams, but not for much longer. Echo trying to run. Darshan's beset by TSM, and he goes down. 3 marksmen up for TSM.
1 versus 3 for the marksman. Stixay took none of them down, but he took some of the tanks down, and now they're going to just back and defend because they can't take the Baron after such a close fight. They should still go for it, I feel like, with the death timers, but they're playing it safe and not letting Huhi teleport to stop him.
It's so difficult to
It would be real
Baron with
risky.
just marksmen. They get melted.
And they don't have enough lifesteal yet.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the replay first.
Look at the traps. So it's hard for them to get in. Afromu tanks as much as he can with the Alistar ultimate.
The one he gets in is Sven, the one who can pop the ultimate as well, and he immediately does, even though he's not close to getting executed.
Yeah, the exhaust had gone down under double lift as well. And then at this point, Stixay has the Lulu shields, but everyone is looking to focus him.
Yeah.
They're going right for Baron. The 3 marksmen did it.
Yep. With Stixay and Darshan still dead.
The 3 musketeers for TSM prevail.
It's a very powerful push.
Yeah. Looking at that last fight though. I wanted to finish that replay.
Yeah, I mean, I remember.
Okay, here was the point I was going to just bring up, because CLG invested in 2 Guardian Angels. And so the way you want to use those Guardian Angels is obviously have those people be the ones starting out the fight. But Darshan wasn't there until they were down a man, down an Alistar ultimate. They want to have these Guardian Angels on the front line, soaking up damage, soaking up abilities, and just being on the front line so that Stixay can get autos off. They want to be able to trade front lines because they have the Guardian Angels. But they weren't able to do that because they weren't in place in time. TSM did such a good job forcing at the Baron, setting up the traps, making Counter Logic Gaming fight on their terms to earn that Baron.
And so now TSM setting the pace, 2,000 gold up thanks to the Baron power play. Most of them have it here. One of them, I guess, hadn't respawned in time. That was actually Hanser, who was the one still dead.
Oh, the local gold goes to waste. I always cry.
He's got to be careful.
TSM.
One person getting picked off on CLG could spell the game.
Not worth 100 whatever gold, 25, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, here comes the Caitlyn offensive play. TSM finally on the aggressive. They got to watch out for the double TP. That's up for CLG. Although I don't expect the Lulu to teleport in behind because he needs to be there to protect Stixay.
And how much poke can Bjergsen get? Rapid fire cannon done on the Corki means he can get those long-range Trinity Force hits. And he can do like 900 damage with an auto attack in the right circumstances.
Stixay's fine with melting the front line.
Yeah, he's built for it.
CLG are fine with defending.
Here's the push in towards Hanser. Decent damage onto him. He's gonna jump right back out and be okay with this one. Stixay is the one to watch as he rotates back and forth between these lanes as CLG looks to stop the TSM aggression. 1 minute left on the Baron buff. TSM hoping to get a real advantage with this push.
TSM just has so much more sustained damage in team fights than CLG. But they can't seem to get through this wave clear.
A lot of damage to Afro, down to half HP while they look for the stun. And they will not. Darshan doesn't go in. But the wave gets clear. This turret isn't taking very much damage. The smite by Smithy gets rid of the cannon. Bjergsen does not risk going in for the shot himself.
This is a pretty dangerous outer turret to defend. This is oftentimes where you can get flanked from the back, maybe by a Gragas, and then lose the team fight. So, yeah CLG should smartly back away here.
All right, wow, look at that. Plus 4,000 gold now from the Baron power play. TSM have equalized the turret score, which was at one point, I think, 4-0, actually. Or something close to that.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's 3 dragons to 2, so we're not close to stacking up to number 6. Game 5, we're already 43.5 minutes into it. This is coming down to a late game team fight. This is coming down to one of those team fights where the death timers are so long that one team is able to push in.
It's coming down to what's going to be the final battle in a DPS check, and it's going to have to be Stixxay selling, I think, the Rage Blade for a static shiv if you want to do optimal damage, because he is the only real damage source. He's going to need optimal items, and that's going to be something he's got to reach at some point. Doublelift going for a Bloodthirster, I believe, last item.
And Bjergsen's probably going for an Essence Reaver, so really offensive builds here by TSM, wanting to just cut through any of the Lulu shields or any of the tanking that CLG has had. And really, CLG doesn't have the greatest flanking ability, so the backline damage are feeling free to build much more offensively.
That'll be 90% crit chance for Bjergsen. Getting to build incredibly aggressively, and that's going to feel good for him.
Thornmail was completed onto Darshan, though.
Okay, he's full build now. He's got nothing else to buy. Almost a similar boat now for Smithy. He's sitting on Glacial Shroud.
Neither does Hans. Like, Hanser would, the only thing would be to sell your dry Guardian Angel that the passive has already been used. Oh, whoa.
Actually,
I think that was a spectator bug, maybe. Is it back up?
It just came back up.
Both GAs are up now.
Okay.
Yeah. The active items stay super dark while they're on cooldown. They all pop up when they're back. So Guardian Angel is up for both the frontliners, or 2 of the frontliners of CLG. Afro doesn't have one. Does have a Frozen Heart, and that's a really big deal. But yeah, Randuin's are big.
Okay, so this dragon, nobody needs to die for this dragon, for either team. They don't have to commit too much for it. Really, this dragon is about getting positioning for the team fight.
TSM got it. That's number 3. And the traps are already up. They're already there too soon for CLG to respond. And here comes Hanser. Looks for the play, gets headbutted, and gets pulverized around. They knock in Stixxay, but he's going to be all right with this one. Now into the front line. Hanser taking so much damage. Going to get saved by Kunit for now. Now they've got to wait for the rapid fire to be back up. In goes them again. Svenskar forced to flash away. Darshan has GA, gets popped around. Knocked back now by Buster Shot as well. Bjergsen is low. Stixxay gets hit up, but QS is out. He's still going to tag. He's trying to reset. He's going in for the reset. Yellow Star got another one. He's going for 3. Stixxay. They can go in.
Smithy's popping up from his GA. Svenskar is going to try and stop him, but he's the only one.
He's going to go down. That's it. The ace for CLG. The clean it from Stixxay.
And CLG proved you can change the players, but the faith remains. And they're going to walk to their 2nd consecutive North American LCS championship.
What a beautiful play to put the faith on the rookie, the Rage Blade Tristana from Stixxay. Put it all in his hands. Give him the rapid fire, give him the resets, and give him his first ever North American championship in his first season on CLG. Oh.
What a series. And what an ending. 46 minutes in, we said it was going to come down to one of those huge team fights. We spent the whole game and the whole series looking at Stixxay not have quite enough. But then at the end, the team comes together, they empower Stixxay, and he takes him home.
It was actually so surprising to me that TSM forced that. TSM had such a big advantage when they set up the Caitlyn traps. But Hanser went all in on Stixxay. Stixxay got off a good rocket jump. He buffered it with the Gragas ultimate coming in. He got right out of it. And then CLG were able to re-engage using the time around the Guardian Angels that they've been building all series long.
I completely agree with you on that. But with this stage and this moment, it was CLG who made the right decisions. Absolutely, TSM should not have continued on that initiation after they didn't catch the hyper carry that was on CLG.
The tension in that game.
But CLG win their 2nd straight championship.
And the confetti is all deserved. The accolades are all deserved. And the question was, did CLG make the right choice when they tried to fix what wasn't broken? Out goes Pobelter, out goes Doublelift, in comes Huhi and Stixxay. And they had been a top team for most of the split. They're the only one to beat Immortals in the regular season. You knew that element was there. And then after all 5 games, for both playoff series, against Liquid as well as against TSM, CLG had the grit and the determination to make it and take it home.
And it wasn't easy. And there were stumbles along the way. Stixxay had poor laning phases in a lot of these games, but with the focus and the support of the team, that's why the team with the best AD carry doesn't just win. It's the team with the AD carry who can work best with his team.
And he worked so well. So, to hear from Counterlogic Gaming themselves on that win, let's head over to Dash, who's with the winning team.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2016 Spring Split LCS champions, Counterlogic Gaming! Gentlemen, a huge congratulations. I am going to pull Zix aside here real quick to ask him a few questions before we get to an interview with you in just a few moments. So Zix, defending champions, you guys come back with a new roster. You substitute 2 guys out. You 3-0'd last time. You had a hard-fought 5 games this time. But how does it feel to know that you've defended your title after making those roster swaps and building the team back up?
It feels so good. Holy. Honestly, like, it's been like an uphill battle the whole way, and nobody's really supported us through that, except for the CLG fans. So, it's really good to prove everyone wrong.
Absolutely, absolutely. You did it in grueling fashion there, a hard-fought series. But I have to ask you, with those roster swaps, with what happened in the preseason, with some of the dissenters that came about and said, you know what, this CLG isn't going to be the same. It can't be the same. You still did it. But I have to ask you, what's the identity of this roster? What changed, and why is this roster unique to any other previous CLG roster out there?
None of us are selfish at all. We only focus on teamwork, and I think that's the most important thing.
So, all right, so talk to me about this, because I think collectively the community would agree that when we look at CLG, we talk about this being the team play team, right? You guys are the ones who win through macro play, who are willing to take a back seat to any other player on the team. But you as a coach, how do you get in there and get the players to buy into that? How do you foster this kind of a team atmosphere as opposed to building up a superstar?
Well, we just treat everyone as a family, make sure everyone is super comfortable, and yeah, that's about it.
All right, well, as a family, you're going to be representing North America at the mid-season invitational. So as the coach, as the guy who's got the bird's eye view into everything, how do you feel CLG is going to fare on the international level? Are they going to put North America back on the map?
Well, a few weeks ago, probably 5 weeks ago, we made a goal, and it was win everything. So we won this, and now it's time to win MSI.
All right, it's time to win everything, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it first. Here first, rather. Again, in just a few moments, we're going to be setting up for an interview with all the members of the CLG team, but for now, we're going to throw it back up to the analyst desk to get their thoughts on this series.
Thank you very much, Dash, and needless to say, an absolute barn burner till the end. 5-game series, and I think everybody here in NA could say either one of those teams could have moved on, and we would have been happy with the performance they would provide at MSI. However, there may be a little more fandom following CLG now.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's hard to say it better than Zix. They play for a team. No one is selfish. And, you know, talking through, oh, who played best with them in this series? Everyone contributed. There's like, oh, well, it was this guy this game. It was, you know, it was Darshan on like in some of the games. It was, you know, Hui coming up big on Echo. Stixxay was huge on Kaylin. He was huge on Tristana this game. Afro had incredible plays on Bard. You know, great on the All-Star as well. Just across the board, they all contribute.
Yeah, it definitely showed that this is what they went for. They went for the team that was focused on being that family, being friends with everybody on that team, and making sure there was no animosity between them, so that they're always willing to help the other one. They're always willing to follow that call. And in that last fight, we definitely saw that they were all on the same page of what was going to happen with that fight, what they needed to do, and it was absolutely beautiful to watch.
Yep, this is the time where I can be really, really smug about my prediction, but you know what? I'm not even going to go there.
Me too.
I think that their teamwork was great, and that's what I thought that they could possibly give them the edge against the enemy team. And I think that with that kind of teamwork, you know, you saw all the double TP coordination, the flanks, just the pressure they were able to put globally when they were using their TPs. That takes a lot of communication, a lot of practice. And I know that they put in hours practicing just TPing or just being able to do those kind of plays, and it paid off finally here.
And that's the thing. they're such a hard-working team, and even though they brought on some new members, they still had the same shot callers, right? They still had the same core unit in terms of who's taking care of the macro game and who's calling the TPs. So when they were able to all get on the same page, we saw multiple Barons snuck in this series where they were able to sneak them, and there was something that went underneath TSM's nose and gave CLG an advantage in these games. And throughout the entire series, I noticed that CLG just had a much cleaner macro game than TSM. Even the games that TSM won, it was usually through brute forcing team fights, and in CLG's games, it was usually split push, turret, pressure, and then sometimes they would team fight, just like in that last game, how they ended up closing it out. So CLG looked more diverse in the strategies that they were able to bring to the table, and their macro game was just cleaner.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for the final thoughts. We are going to take a moment now to toss it down to Jat, who is stateside with TSM's Double Lift.
Thank you very much, Double Lift, for taking this interview after a very tough, hard-fought 5-game series. It's definitely got to be difficult. We're going to be talking to CLG in just a moment. But how do you feel after such a close series?
I guess it's kind of fitting that it all came down to one big team fight at like 40 minutes. And it's kind of bittersweet because we were just like right there. We were right about to win. And I guess we just blew it in game 5. So I don't know. I'm pretty proud of my team, though, because clawing our way back from 6th seed, I mean, we just had to try harder than every other team to make it this far.
Yeah, a lot of support from the crowd that's still here as well. Talk to me a little bit about that journey from 6th seed. Did you expect to even be in the position where one team fight could have given you the championship?
I think coming into the split, I was like, we're going to win this for sure, or we're definitely going to be in the finals. And then during the split, we got like more and more demoralized as the weeks went on. And then when playoffs came, we just kind of hit rock bottom, and we just knew because we're the lowest seed, we have to try harder than every other team to make the finals. And we finally got here. I knew it was going to be a close series. I didn't know it was going to be this close. But yeah, I'm just shocked, I guess. I didn't think CLG was that good.
Well, super close. CLG are the defending champions once again. That's 2 splits in a row for them. And final question for you, Double Lift. Knowing how the series had gone, what would you do differently if you were to play it again?
What would I do differently? So many things. I would probably... Man, that's such a hard question. I can't think of...
It is a hard question, I'm sorry. Right after the series, speaking of the last team fight in particular, what do you think broke it open to essentially decide the series?
I think our early game kind of sucked. We were like 0-4 early game, and then they got a Baron. But I don't know, we just got outplayed. The truth is, when it comes to 40-minute team fights, it just comes down to player and like team versus team synergy. And I mean, CLG 100% deserves it because player for player and team for team, they played better in that team fight. They aced us, and then they just throned it. So, I mean, congrats to them. They played really well.
Well, thank you very much, Double Lift. I think it was a fantastic series. Both teams should hold their heads high, and I look forward to watching TSM next split. For now, though, let's send it up to the analyst desk to keep closing out the day.
Team Solo made another very hard fought split and going to come in stronger during the summer. Hopefully the fans will see that coming. That was a little savage. It was a little ominous there.
Lights out for TSM.
As we do throw it around the Mandalay Bay Event Center, before we get back to CLG and Dash's interview with them, we kind of want to take a look at the last fight that actually broke this open, and we'll figure out just what happened. As we bring this one up, we all know Stixay kind of went off the handle on this one on the Tristana, the pick that not many people seem to really think would come back. So let's start that replay on your screen and check this out.
Kobe actually had really good points about this. That trap line is right there at the Dragon. TSM did not need to force this, but they were trying to push their advantage instead of push the terrain and play to their team composition strengths.
Yeah.
And that buffer of the rocket jump by Stixay was absolutely perfect. It blows the Lamb's respite here, even though Hanser wasn't going to die in those moments. And then boom, Svenskeren gets knocked up. They have to divide now and go off onto the other side.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, it's like, you know, at the point where the Kindred ult gets popped, I still think that TSM actually could have retreated. I think they could try to just bail out, say, hey, this is a lost fight, let's get out of here. They decided to fully commit, and you talk about, you know, fully committing to those losing calls, even if it is the wrong decision. Everyone wants to be on the same page, and this is one of those things where it happened and it didn't go well for them.
And did you have any thoughts? Or Zarin, go ahead.
I was just going to say, those Caitlyn traps are something you have to play around.
Absolutely.
And we saw Double Lift actually playing the Caitlyn rather well during the entire series. He was placing down traps during the fights, and they're very hard to see when everything's very hectic. But with the fact that the Caitlyn has to be a little bit closer and in range and like take an extra second to do that, it becomes rather difficult. So play around the traps. You don't have to go out that far.
All right. Well, both our teams gave it they're all on the Rift today, but one player actually stood above the rest and has earned the title of Player of the Series. That is going to be Stixay. Fantastic play from him throughout the series. Tristan in the end was a little interesting, I think, to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, he was really huge in all the games that they won. He, people were giving a lot of criticism, but he was up in CS, he was up in farm, he was putting out huge amounts of damage in the team fights, and Stixay throughout the series played incredibly well. And in that last one, that buffered W could have won the game.
Exactly. And Stixay, that was a game 5. That was a winning play right there. They put everything on his shoulders. They picked the Lulu composition around the Tristana, and they trusted in it, even though it had lost previously when they had run it against TL. And this was the rookie on a big stage, biggest venue he's been in front of. He actually went to IEM as well, so he's also had some experience there. But Nerves didn't seem to phase him that much. He was down in CS in some of the laning phases, but they seem to play around team, right? It's not about if you can outplay that one guy. It's if your team can actually work as a unit, and even if you are better in the one-on-one, if you're not as good on the 5-on-5, then it doesn't matter. It's a team game.
Well, we get to hear from the team right now. We're going to check back with Dash, who has got an interview on stage with CounterLogic Gaming.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Yes, I'm here on stage with the victorious members of CounterLogic Gaming. Now, this is the time where I get to sit trophy side and have a little chat with these gentlemen after their victory. I've got to come to you first, Darshan, as one of the members who had the victory over Summer Split. How does it feel to come back and make sure that everyone knows you're at the top of North America yet again in the spring?
Feels pretty damn good. I think we all worked really hard, and that was a hard-fought series on both sides. I think TSM also played really well, but we came out on top because we were better.
I mean, absolutely, a 5-game series this time, and I like the little response there to double it. The 5-game series this time, though, Smithy, last time it was a 3-0, so this time they definitely gave you a little bit more of a run for your money, and I mean, kind of piggybacking off of Darshan's point, TSM had a disgusting run through the playoffs, some might say, coming in as a 6th seed and then challenging you guys for this title. So talk to me a little bit about preparation. What were you guys expecting coming into this series?
Well, yeah, for first one, there's gonna be a lot of doubters for us since we're trying new stuff, but we're just trying to get inspiration from everyone around us. We're trying to get everyone's impact in the game, but for this split or for this series, actually, everyone's thought that the veterans were gonna be the carries, but actually it's our 2 rookies that carried us. So
speaking of which, let's jump over to Stixay, our player of the series. Smithy just mentioned it, rookie season here, and here you are accepting that honors and your first NALCS title. How does that feel, knowing that, especially in the 5th game, all eyes were on you as the Tristana with the Lulu right behind you to take that victory?
Well, it's definitely... My mic working? Okay.
Hello?
You might swap mics.
This one's broken too. Oh.
All right. That's 1, 2, 3.
Ba, ba,
Okay.
ba.
All right, we got it. You're good.
All right, so, well, I was definitely happy that my Ginsu's Tristana worked out, because if that didn't work out,
Well, so talk to me about this pick, because the last time we saw the Ginsu's Tristana, it didn't work out so well, right? And that takes a lot of guts in a game 5 of the finals for the split to pull out something that you've only played one other time on the stage and having had it not work. So what allowed you, what enabled you to make such a pick?
well, it was a pick that we had talked about the whole series, and that game was just the correct game for us to do it. And as you can see, when we have Lulu Tristana, especially when we scale that far into the late game, and I actually sold the Ginsu's at the end for a better build because Ginsu's loses its value over time. And yeah, Tristana's just super strong if she can get there. So
that's true. We saw the prowess of it. Huhi, you were right behind him there on that Lulu. We saw you jumping across all kinds of different champions in this series. It being your rookie split as well. What does it mean to you to be able to step up, and grab back that title for CLG, a 2nd split in a row?
So can you sum up the question real quick?
Absolutely. It being your rookie split, how does it feel to step up onto this stage and get back that title, to take the title again, a 2nd time for CLG, knowing that you filled those shoes just as much, if not more, than the shoes that were there before?
So we're talking about the championship, right?
This championship that you just won, you're aware that you just won the North American LCS split, right?
The sound is pretty weird, so I can't really hear
Right,
it.
I got you. I can speak up. I'm loud. So if you need to,
I think
it felt good, right?
yeah, you felt good.
Okay, now elaborate on that.
So basically, we won. Like CLG won the championship last year too, but when we came to this season, like everyone expected us to perform really poorly. So I was kind of sad because I thought we were going to perform really well and then be like the top tier in LCS. But now, like I can surely tell them that we're the defending champion again, and we're going to win MSI and everything else.
There it is. We're going to win everything. I know that was the motto. Aframu, I got to speak to Zix a little bit about this team mentality that you guys have built and fostered. And I want to go to you as the veteran, the team captain, in terms of what has that journey been like for you guys, transitioning from a team that did have some stars, that had some people that you would play behind, to a team that is built of guys who will take a backseat to anybody else and let them carry.
Well. Well, in my opinion, this iteration of the CLG roster is just infinitely better. Mindset is a lot better. Everyone is willing to accept criticism, and there's no really people feeling afraid to have a voice on the team, I would say. So especially bringing in the two rookies, it was important for us that they had a very good environment that they can feel like, a tribute to our play style, whatever. Because when I first came on CLG as a rookie, that wasn't happening. I just played Protect AD Carry the whole time. So, yeah. But I want to give a special shout out to Nian Tonso, Seraph, Dexter, and Link for the series. And I did it for you guys. So, thanks.
Well, again, gentlemen, it shows the teamwork, the initiative that you guys have had in this split to go from, rebuilding the roster and in only one split to come away with a victory. It really does show. I want to congratulate you again on the championship. Wish you the best of luck at MSI. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, your 2016 Spring Split LCS champions, Counter Logic Gaming, put it together. And now we're going to throw it back up to Riven the guys to close out our day.
Thank you very much, Dash. And it is finally coming to a close here at Mandalay Bay. And you could see the camaraderie of Counter Logic Gaming on the stage there. Each player in the series had almost made a name for themselves coming in the season. Even the rookies did. And they were behind each other, bolstering each other with plays, comments. They're one of the strongest kind of cohesion teams we've seen in NA.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got to say, it's like people coming into this, yeah, they're defending champions, but everyone kind of just discounted them this split. It's like, well, sure, CLG won last year, but it's a different CLG. These guys didn't win. They're not going to be able to repeat. They're not going to go all the way. And they've been proving people wrong the entire way, all the way through the split, all the way through the playoffs, and now repeating has got to feel so good, just to prove everybody wrong.
I actually have some questions about how this is going to play out in the future, because when they won last year, it was still underdog, right? They always had the underdog mentality. They talked about it back in Madison Square Garden that everybody underestimates them. It happened again this entire split, and it happened again all the way up until the championship. Both of you guys were saying that TSM seemed like favorites and that CLG is going to take it today, but CLG moving forward, the reason that people don't look at them and go, that is an incredibly powerful squad, is because it's really hard to put your finger on what exactly it is, and it's their macro game. They play as a team. Yeah. It's hard to point out and be like, you can look at a team and be like TSM, like Bjergsen plays really well, right?
Exactly.
This guy plays really well, and then you're a fan of that. But when you look at CLG, it's the entire team. They work together like a unit. It's a machine, and it works perfectly. It may not be the most exciting machine to watch every time, all the time, right? It's not flashy, but it works effectively, and I think that's what people need to catch on to and look at CLG and be like, these guys are back-to-back champions for a reason.
It's great for me to look at teams like this because I see teams which have like an identity where they snowball only one lane. Like let's say the AD carry is the main carry, the mid laner is the main carry, the jungle carry.
You have that one focus.
Yeah, but then when you look at CLG, you have all their players enable each other. Like one game Stixxay goes off, one game Hui goes off. Smithy's doing great one game, Darshan is doing consistently great as well. Afro's making like amazing plays, and it's hard to pinpoint like, oh, this guy was the MVP for this series. This guy was a super MVP for this series. It's more like it's refreshing to see that they can enable each other and everyone can carry. I
And
think
that's
really
changed
nice
from the
to see.
beginning. We used to know them as the one-threat team where you just have a tank running around on the top lane.
Yeah, and it's so strange because you're talking about, like, we were debating back and forth about, like, who's player of the series. It's like, well, is it Stixay? Well, I mean, he got that first blood because Afro move flashed forward and got that pulverizer. Like, Smithy was ganking that lane. And that's the thing is it's just a team effort, and it's basically everybody's putting in 20%, so it equals 100% at the end of the day for the squad. Nobody is kind of letting the slack go, and other people are picking up when it does happen because some people will have an off game where they get first blooded, so they have each other's backs, and that's what I think is so beautiful about this squad, that they found the right unit of players. Because they gave up stars to do this, right? And a lot of people thought it was a mistake, but it ended up being the right move.
They said it themselves, carried by the rookies, right? Yep. So with our postseason standings finalized, let's take one more look at the championship points, the things everybody is gunning for. With their win, Counterlogic Gaming earns the title of Spring Split Champion and takes the lion's share of championship points, a total of 90 to carry into the summer. Second place TSM walks away with 70 points, with third place Immortals earning 50. Liquid end the split with 30 points, and with Cloud9 and NRG Esports taking home 10. And all throughout, we have been asking for your favorite moments, and we've gone through the archives to relive some of those epic memories. Our first tweet comes from Shadow Chimera. Last game, Hooney's pentakill to conclude a 17-1 Immortals run in their first split. P-Bars are not telling the same story. Immortals is running right over them. Hooney with the phase dive. Hooney with the quadra. The fall. Is it going to be the penta? Hooney in the final game of their spring split gets a pentakill.
Pentakill. Hey. Give him penta. Give him penta. Give me penta. Give me penta. Give him the penta.
I remember calling that play, and afterwards I'm like, quadra kill, because the quadra kill pops up, and then the turret gets destroyed, so you don't see Penta for a very long while. And I remember looking up at you like, okay, when like giving hand signals is like,
And then you look down and it's like, Aiden, what are you doing? Aiden, penta.
Like, I know it's a penta. Last thing I saw was quadra, but it was really well played by them. And
it was amazing.
You know, getting third place with a couple of kind of backtracking in their strategy, but of course, I mean, he plays tank, or not tank tops now, but he played very aggressive top laners. He's been fantastic at them. So
to change it up.
Maybe it comes back in.
So we've got an unforgettable moment as well from the outside teams of the playoffs, coming from Lilyman Building. Definitely Echo Fox versus Dignitas. 68-minute game with a breathtaking ending.
Yeah, run in and back door.
They know we're there.
It doesn't matter, just do it.
We need to just go. You have flash? Jump over this wall.
Just do it, just do it.
Go over the wall, go over the wall. Now.
Do it, do it, do it. Just do it, just do it, just do it. Hit the tower only.
Keith goes down, but here comes Hard. He wants it. He's trying a big pulverize. He's trying to win the game. It's so close, and they did it. Echo Fox, somehow they've won the game. Oh my God! I cannot believe that. I'll believe that.
I think Kobe had actually lost his mind by that point in the game, and that one was absolutely incredible. You know, the CS records are pretty nuts, but yeah.
And great cast on the day, guys.
Yeah, I noticed as the game gets longer and longer, Kobe gets more and more insane. So when you hit the 68-minute mark, that's where he snaps, and it was right there. So
just on the cusp. We got to get more of those. Next up is a tweet we got yesterday, but wanted to save it for the moment for the main event. From MC Banter 101. When CLG beat Immortals due to a backdoor by Darshan, even Zion Spartan would be proud. Time buyer of all time buyers. Can he do it? He's in there. It's the smite fight. 50-50. He steals it. And Counterlogic Gaming is very much still in it.
I got
nice. I'm going. He's onto the Nexus. Does it even matter that Smithy just came up that big? Yes, it does. What a barn burner. He gets it to go down. 42 minutes on the clock. Counterlogic Gaming defeats Immortals. And he broke his chair.
Did he? Did he break it? Oh.
When he got up, he threw it back. Because I don't know if it broke, but off the stage. Zion is one of the most kind of intense, emotional players in those moments, and we've always known.
Yeah, we saw Darshan today, though. You know.
Oh God.
I feel like CLG just cheats. They always get these crazy game enders where it's like that's scripted. There's no way that could possibly have happened out normally. Today they had minions kill the Nexus. You know, Darshan gets these crazy backdoors. And you're just like, they couldn't have planned for that. But it happens so many times. Like, their shot calling is just on point, especially when it comes to endgame.
They can't even get the minions to do what they want. Our last moment from Red Magikarp 13, great name. The call that put CLG in the finals, the double TP of Legends.
We can TP mid, Jay. Double TP mid. All right. You have GA, right?
Yep.
No, not yet. We can TP now. You want to? I'm teleporting. All right. I've got a flash.
Don't go in. Okay.
You got it.
So if they channel it at exactly the same time, you can't tell, but it was a little bit delayed.
Yeah.
And he had a trap even. That's why he felt so safe. He's like, oh yeah, they'll teleport onto a trap and I'm good.
Yeah, that was absolutely nuts. Speaking of crazy endings, I mean, that was one of the craziest I've ever seen. I remember watching that on the analyst desk, and we were all just like, wait, one TP, what are they doing? And then we see the second one come through, we all just lost our minds. We're all screaming, oh my God, the game's over. But it was absolutely insane.
And Piglet tries to play that to the best of his ability. Of course, he could have backed off, but if it was just one TP, he actually played it perfectly. He put one trap down, and then as soon as he saw the other, his reaction time was actually incredibly fast. He puts down another trap, and he eased backwards, but he gets rooted at the same time, so he doesn't actually go anywhere. So he freaked out on his keyboard when he saw that second one come through.
Tough stuff, but I love those kind of millisecond plays where you can actually say, would I do that or would I have backed off? And I think I actually would have stayed too.
I definitely would have died.
Yeah.
The thing is, if that were me, I would have died so many times in the rest of the game that part wouldn't have had to happen because it would have been the 20-minute FF. So,
And then Scar's quiet. He's like, I would have lived. Whatever, guys. So the LCS is going to go on a month-long cooldown before we move to summer and a best-of-3 format. But Primetime League will have you covered in the meantime, along with a little tournament we call MSI. In just 2 weeks, the top teams from around the world will meet in Shanghai, China, for the League of Legends Mid-Season Invitational. CounterLogic Gaming will be representing North America on the international stage, with G2 Esports coming in for Europe and the Flash Wolves representing the LMS. The remaining competitors will be determined in the next few weeks, and MSI will be hitting your screens on May 4th for the first day of group stages. I think it'll actually be pretty crazy. We do know the International Wildcard Invitational is taking place right now as well, so more to come from that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see who ends up making it there. If SKT end up making it all the way, and if they come back. But EDG also in the finals for China at the moment, so I'm really excited to see if they even get a rematch there from the previous MSI.
Yeah, I'm excited to see who gets second place, because CLG just called first. So.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Right, first is known.
I was kind of bummed I got spoiled on the event. I mean,
Too scripted, too early.
But I'm really excited that it is a 2-week event. So after that first stage, you get a week to prepare for your opponents.
Right.
And then it gets to be an even more competitive bracket stage.
It seems like that time now isn't putting teams in a lull. It's actually giving them a lot of strength to come into these tournaments. So thank you for sending us your epic moments. We look forward to bringing you even more next split, if you send them in still. Congratulations once again to our Spring Split champions, CounterLogic Gaming. Thank you for watching. And now for myself, Skara, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew. I think it's the end of the day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at MSI.
CLG is looking to come into this split and just build off of their championship last year. TSM took the marquee player from CLG, which can only add heat to the rivalry.
Darshan, he's going to be the one to come around. He waits, flashes, and counter-strikes from across the wall. And CounterLogic Gaming are going to take the game.
This is your moment. You gotta own it. You gotta fight for your right to belong here. Now I'm a warrior. Just this moment. He's gonna get Turtle. 1 versus 3. A quadra kill for Hootie. And a penta-kill for Hootie! Immortals living up to their name.
저의 앞에 아주 큰 벽이 닥칠 거야. 그거를 무조건 넘어야 한다.
Wears off, the cue's off, he goes in. That's going to be the laser steal from GBM. Oh, who does he stop?
Are you kidding me?
Energy's trying to get this turret right back, but
yeah, whoa! 4-man ulti from KFO, and look at the slaughter.
Dignitas
playing League in Hawaii is definitely like a disadvantage. All the ads were against me.
Full game. Fox was on Liquid's side of the map, and Liquid pushes back with one swift punch.
Can he dodge Cocoon? Yes. Smithy comes in, gets chucked out. He's in the fight. None of them can do anything. Oh, man!
I refuse to credit High for this play. There's no way I was like, yo, Jensen, body these guys 1v2, and we good.
Multiple knockouts, 2 kills already. They cannot be stopped.
And they're going to take the best record in win rate in the North American LCS. Seraph with the fire! We called the top laner would make plays in his substitution, and Seraph comes forth to do so. RNG! Darshan, a few more hits, he gets him to go down! Counter Logic Gaming defeats Immortals!
TDK have done it and eliminated Team Dignitas.
The 2016 Summer LCS will not have Dignitas for the first time in LCS history.
You're going to see him as one of the NA rising stars.
A triple kill for Dardoch, killing everybody with a quadra kill. Dardoch is going full AD Lee Sin. He's 9-2. Gotta try. Going for the play and a Conquan. That's one. Next up is Moon. They're gonna take him out 2. A double kill for Double Lift. Now a 1 versus 3. Bjergsen to save the season goes in. Energy takes down TSM in a chaotic final game of the season.
They go to playoffs and choke. It's on them. It's on us. It's on me.
Team Solo Men take the quarterfinal match against Cloud9.
It's like riding a bicycle. I'm phenomenal. It's gonna be the 3-0 in the quarterfinal. It's gonna be Liquid. Power is optimal. It's my time to make impossible and impossible.
Darshan wants to kill him.
That's a little ambitious.
Well, double TP!
He's doing the double TP! He only thought it was 1. CLG get the chance to defend that championship. Counter Logic Gaming takes down Team Liquid.
So just tilt him? Just tilt him. Alright, easy strat.
Hootie kicking the damage out. There's only a 1 man left alive.
You predicted Immortals. How are you feeling right now in your predictions, Loco? There it is.
There's 7 straight LCS finals against who else but the team that beat them last, Counter Logic Gaming. TSM are heading to the finals.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2016 North American LCS Spring Championship Finals.
This was a completely different story and year for TSM. This was a 9-9 regular season team.
CLG last year was their first time making the finals, and they're showing that wasn't a fluke.
Bjergsen's the DPS, and they have a support back. The
He's got to run. He's got to run. And it's not going to be enough to win you.
And that was just the first game.
Woo! And the re-engage comes in. Bjergsen. It's 2 kills so far. Make that a third or 2. He goes down. And nothing for expecting a 4 for 0. But it's still going TSM's way. 6 in the last one alive. And it all comes down to 1 final game. He's still gonna attack. He's trying to reset. He's going in for the reset. Yellow Star